Hello friends, today we will discuss about primary and secondary immune response. To understand this concept, let us revise something which we have already discussed. So, in the last few lectures, we have discussed about the acquired immunity, which is also known as adaptive immunity, okay? Adaptive immunity, and there are two types of acquired or adaptive immunity which we have discussed in detail. One is cell mediated immunity, and another one is humoral immunity. So, what exactly is this cell mediated and humoral immunity? In detail we have already discussed, but just to revise now in relation to this particular topic. So, whenever there is an foreign antigen or bacteria enters in our body, in response to this antigen, the main cells which are activated in our body, that is the main cells which helps in the immunity or acquired immunity, is the lymphocytes. There are two types of lymphocytes, one is T lymphocytes, another one is B lymphocytes. The difference also we have discussed in the previous lectures. So, whenever this antigen will stimulate this T lymphocytes and there is a production of the activated T lymphocytes, okay, and these activated T lymphocytes ultimately they will kill or destroy the foreign antigen or antibody. That mechanism is known as cell mediated immunity. That is, when an antigen enters, T lymphocytes are activated, ultimately they will destroy the antigen. Okay, how exactly we have discussed previously. Now, similarly, when the antigen activates the B lymphocytes, okay, and they become activated B lymphocytes, and in turn they will get differentiated into so called plasma cells, and they will ultimately form the antibodies, okay, and these antibodies ultimately that will also destroy the foreign antigen, okay, they will destroy the foreign antigen, and this type of destruction by the formation of antibodies, okay, by the activation of the B lymphocytes, this type of immunity is known as humoral immunity. Hope the concept is clear. What is cell mediated immunity and what is humoral immunity? Basically, cell mediated immunity is due to activation of T lymphocytes and humoral immunity due to activation of B lymphocytes. So, during this process, there is something known as, while there is activation of T lymphocytes and B lymphocytes with the stimulation of foreign antigen, there is production of memory cells, either memory T cells or memory B cells, okay. In both the cell mediated and humoral immunity, there is formation of memory cells, memory B cells or memory T cells. Now, these memory cells will lead to the secondary response, that is our topic. What is primary and secondary immune response? Now, let us discuss that same thing with the help of a graph, okay. So, let me draw one graph and try to explain the concept of this primary and secondary immune response, okay, primary and secondary immune response. So, on x axis, okay, on x axis let us consider this is the time, in days, and on y axis, okay, just consider this is the blood antibody titer, okay, antibody concentration or titer, okay, in arbitrary units, of course. So, just we will put it arbitrary units 110 antibody concentration 110 100. On the x axis we will write 10 days, 20 days, time duration days for 30, then so called 40, 50, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, okay. So, like that up to 100 days we will just write here, okay. Now, when an foreign antigen, AG I am writing just for in short form antigen, okay. Now, when a foreign antigen or bacteria enters in our body, in response to this there is production of antibodies, right. So, these antibodies or even activated T cells, it will not form immediately, it will take some time, that is the lag phase, and after a week or around 10 days there is slowly there is a production of antibodies will increase, the concentration of antibodies production will increase, and finally they will after some time the antibody titer or concentration will decrease over a period of time, okay, say around 30 days. So, this type of formation of antibodies by the stimulation of the B cells, this is called as primary response, okay, primary immune response, okay. We will just take an example of antibodies, primary immune response, okay. Now, the same antigen again reinfect that same person, then the concentration of that, say after some few weeks. So, you can see the antibody concentration or the antibody titer will be more, that is the concentration as well as the duration will increase. See, the antibody titer will be more and it will, the duration, that is this antibody will last for even months, 3 months to up to years. This type of response, it is known as secondary response or secondary immune response. Now, why it is so? I have already described, it is due to memory cells. So, few of the activated T lymphocytes or B lymphocytes, they remain dormant as memory cells, either B memory cells or T memory cells. So, these B memory cells, so there already B memory cells are formed during the second exposure of the same antigen. So, during the second time, what happens is there is a the response will be more, because there is a preformed memory B cells will be there, they will be forming more antibodies. Okay. Initially they have to activate it and the newly formed activated B cells will form antibodies. Here already the activated B lymphocytes will be there and they will give a bigger response for a longer duration. Okay. So, this is the secondary immune response and it is due to memory cells. Okay. And this is the logic behind the vaccination. Okay, especially the vaccination due to the dead antigen, dead bacterial or viral antigen. So, usually you know there will be one or two or more doses. So, first dose is called as the primary or priming dose, second dose is known as booster dose. So, why we take the vaccination in 2 doses or more than that is, it acts as a booster dose, that is during the injection of the, for the first time the primary immune response will be a smaller magnitude and for smaller duration, but when we inject the or give the vaccination for the second time, the response or the antibody concentration will be more and for a longer duration. That is the logic behind the adding of the booster dose. Okay. Thank you very much.